Hi everyone, and welcome back to the GuideWell Insights Lounge. We're here on location at the Oliver Wyman Health Innovation Summit. My name is Kate Warnock, and I'm pleased to bring you our next guest, Todd Van Tol. Todd, welcome.
Thank you very much, Kate.
We're happy to have you. Todd, you are a partner and head of North America for Health and Life Sciences at Oliver Wyman. We're happy to have you again because I know that we've interviewed you in the past, and it's good to kind of refresh your perspective on some things. So let's ask our first question. One of the big themes for the summit is transforming healthcare from the outside in. Why is it that our industry continues to lag behind in that transformation?
I think it's important to understand when we say outside in, we mean finally coming around to building models and products and support that really centers around the consumer. We have so much in healthcare that has been inside out. We have operated under things like provider workflow, payer systems, what employers have wanted in their benefits, and the consumer's been a bit of an afterthought. They've been in the background. As you think about what are the types of things we measure and how we pay, it's been things like procedures, it's been claims. We've made it episodic, and people don't live their lives, they don't have their healthcare experience, they don't have their healthcare journey in episodic bits. And as you start to think about and compare to what really good outside-in industries, really consumer-centric industries and leaders within that do, think of things like retail or the hotel industry, and how they really think about those points of joy, of magnetism, thinking about consumer segmentation and how meeting people at different places in different ways do that. Amazon's a wonderful example in terms of how they use technology. Yes, we are transacting. Yes, we have events where we're purchasing items, but Amazon makes it easy. They understand our preferences. They're anticipatory, very personalized, and that is a foreign concept to healthcare. So it is just in the last few years that we have really started to center on let's put the consumer at the center, let's think about their needs, and let's start to design something that's not about the transactions and the points in time, but something that is end-to-end in that journey. And we've got a ways to go, but you're starting to see the emergence of things like the consumer experience officer in a large health system or in a payer. And we're getting there, and it's been the growth of things like Medicare Advantage, ACA, and other consumer choice markets that is going to let us put that consumer at the front and center.
All right, so you just named some really, really great examples for us. Let's feed that into our next question. So building, and you even use the word magnetic, building a truly transformative and magnetic consumer model is difficult. What is the difference between what you've seen most organizations do versus what you view as true transformation?
Yes. You started with an important word. It is difficult. Let's acknowledge that healthcare has certain unique challenges that make that transformation perhaps a little bit more difficult than some of the other industries that I've highlighted. So we have challenges around health literacy, right? Healthcare is complicated, it's personal. We're dealing with important choices, often at times where we have fairly significant needs, physically, emotionally. We have a significant amount of regulation, our industry is somewhat fragmented, and so some of the changes that can scale quickly, technology-driven change in other industries, sometimes happen a little bit more slowly in healthcare. And I think we're seeing people nibble on the edges. Everybody has some patient engagement, consumer experience initiatives that they're running, but often they fall in the bucket of how do we fix existing pieces and parts? How do we improve that EOB? How do we make that process of discharge a little bit better and easier to understand? We're working pieces and parts, or even with good intent, sometimes we're adding more. So we're putting more decision support tools, we're rolling out another app. And even though we're putting more functionality into the consumer's hands, we're not really making it easier. We're in some ways we can even make it more fragmented, more complex, because we're throwing more stuff at them in the hopes that something will stick. And so that's incremental in doing and fixing some of those pieces and parts. Transformative, again, goes to thinking about the end-to-end journey. What is somebody, as you just think about the healthcare experience, whether you're a payer and thinking about how do they understand their needs, understand their benefit options, make good choices, understand how to use them, to somebody receiving a diagnosis and understanding what their options are and treatment options available to them and what it means to comply and things of that sort. These are things that don't happen in piecemeal components, but they're things that require an understanding of a journey and the hassles along the way. And really transformative requires working all of those components, and it often requires working in a cross-stakeholder way.
Well, perfect lead into the next question, as you mentioned, working across stakeholders. Obviously, the nature of the payer-provider relationship is changing to create a let me rephrase that. How is the nature of the payer-provider relationship something that maybe was once contentious and maybe now a little more collaborative? How is that changing to really enrich the consumer experience?
Getting there. Yeah. There's still, at times, plenty of friction in that, but it historically has been one. It's been a bit of a zero-sum game, right? It's been about unit rates and the contracting mechanism, and if I give you more, I get less type of dynamics. I think in some ways, ACA and the ACA markets maybe even exacerbated that a bit because we had a lot of pressure to hit price points. We have very price-sensitive consumers who have shown a willingness at times to trade access in terms of the size of the network for lower premiums, and so in some ways we've been trading on some of those old tools. But what's begun to emerge is organizations in collaboration saying, that's not sustainable. Let's really think about how we break this kind of race to the bottom and the idea that lower price means less choice and a smaller network, and think about how we differentiate on experience. Think about an example like AARP, in another insurance sector. We are not talking about something that is a new iPhone or a gadget of some sort. It's insurance, but yet you have members there who 90% plus said they're going to stay with AARP for life. So how do we create that in healthcare? And you can't do it alone. It's very much a team sport. So as you think about, again, that end-to-end journey of a consumer, they're not breaking it apart and There's the interactions with the payer, here's the interactions with the provider or in the physician's office. They're thinking about that holistically. So we are finally seeing payer and provider organizations saying, well, let's launch a new product offering. Let's go to market with something that actually has a focus on experience. Let's make it easier when I'm in the office to schedule that follow-up appointment. Let's open up the access so that I can get the specialist appointment so that my medical record can follow me from different locations. How do I go from 10 numbers on the back of my insurance card to one number? And how do I think about eliminating surprises and the things that happen in healthcare today where we generate the negative experience because we have a surprise that's out of line with our expectations? And so there's a number of organizations and partnerships that are emerging out there that are focused on creating a great experience and saying, and that's going to create loyalty, and that's going to cause us to get out of this churn in terms of this race to the bottom on price and actually have something that's differentiated and sustainable.
And we'll see efficiencies and really put that consumer back in the center where they were supposed to be all along.
That's right.
Right. Well, Todd, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us here at the GuyVault Insights Lounge. My name is Kate Warnock. Thank you so much for watching.